$249 a month. Only $249 a month at your Nissan dealer now.
A deadly milestone. The U.S. military death toll in Iraq for April hits triple digits. Congress asks for answers. The Bush administration now acknowledges there are big problems. U.S. civilian casualties, unfortunately, are mounting too. How contract workers are risking their lives. An American community hears that 5 times a day, and it's pitting Muslims against irritated Christians. We'll give you the inside story.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The monthly U.S. death toll in Iraq has hit yet another record high, and the month is not over. Word came today that the number of American troops killed in Iraq so far in April has reached 100. The growing casualty count, with no end in sight, had members of Congress of both parties seeking answers today about the president's war plan. Basically, where does it go from here? What is the exit strategy? CBS's John Roberts reports it's clear that many in Congress are concerned about what they did and did not hear.
What lawmakers saw and learned about Iraq during their spring recess wasn't good. From the violence and mounting death toll to 2 new books exposing how and why the U.S. went to war, they came back to Capitol Hill demanding to know from the administration just what is going on with Iraq.
I'm not here to paint a rosy picture or to view this through rose-colored glasses. There are enormous problems.
That stark assessment aside, the Pentagon's number 2 insisted things will get better when control is handed back to Iraqis at the end of June. But it was clear Paul Wolfowitz faced a skeptical audience.
Mr. Secretary, I must say I found your presentation here this morning somewhat disingenuous.
I would have preferred you hadn't used that word disingenuous. I'm trying my best to be candid with this committee and with the American people.
Across the hall in Congress, it wasn't the presentation, but the lack of it that had senators' backs up. Democrats and Republicans alike were infuriated that the White House sent no one to explain how it was going to hand off power in Iraq.
I think it's outrageous the administration has not provided every witness we've asked for.
The administration has failed to communicate its Iraq plans and cost estimates to Congress and to the American people.
It's especially troubling as lawmakers are anticipating another huge bill for the occupation, one some experts put at $50 billion. And the testiness on Iraq wasn't confined just to Capitol Hill today.
This is becoming quite unreal.
Across town, the Secretary of State today nearly dropped diplomacy when asked again about reports in the new Bob Woodward book that President Bush kept Powell out of the loop on the decision to go to war and didn't tell him until after he told the Saudi ambassador.
The suggestion that somehow a plan was presented to Prince Bandar that I was not familiar with is just flat wrong.
The issue of most immediate concern for Congress is the transition of power in Iraq. President Bush is sticking to his timetable, but he still doesn't have a plan, prompting some lawmakers to say today, well, the president has thought a lot about what happens on June 30th. He hasn't thought about July 1st. Dan?
John Roberts reporting live at the White House. In Iraq today, a brazen mortar attack on a Baghdad prison run by U.S. forces killed 22 Iraqi inmates and wounded more than 90 others. A prison spokesman said a dozen mortar rounds hit the facility, but it's unclear who fired them or why. Also today, with a shaky ceasefire holding in the city of Fallujah, U.S. Marines began letting civilians who fled the recent fighting there return home. If the calm continues, the Marines plan to begin joint patrols in Fallujah with Iraqi police. Also today, Honduras confirmed it will withdraw its small contingent of troops from Iraq, following the lead of Spain. And CBS's Kimberly Dozier reports tonight a surge in attacks on civilian supply convoys is putting the squeeze on Iraqi cities, especially Baghdad.
The war for Baghdad streets is claiming casualties, but men and machines aren't the only victims. The trade of the entire city is grinding to a halt. Cupboards aren't exactly bare, but Iraqis are starting to feel the pinch. You see the situation, this shopkeeper says. We can't get supplies. The road south to Kuwait runs over a war-damaged bridge that can't be repaired because of constant skirmishes. The road north to Turkey has been closed off and on by U.S. forces trying to halt guerrilla activity there. And the major goods route west to Jordan is shut by fighting in Fallujah. That means for almost 3 weeks now, little has come in or out of Baghdad. Khalid Hassan says soldiers just shouted at him to go away when he asked when he could drive past their roadblock. At this truck depot, deliveries are down from 200 trucks a day to just 5. That leaves a long chain of people idle: drivers, packers, sellers, and buyers. And in a city where reconstruction is supposed to be booming, Mohammed Latif has been waiting 3 weeks for concrete. Iraqis blame the coalition for the lack of security. And U.S. officials tell CBS News there's plenty of blame being traded within the coalition itself.
Are we pleased where it is? No. Do we still have some work to do? Yeah.
Officials with the Coalition Provisional Authority here in Baghdad say the military has not provided a safe environment for reconstruction. U.S. commanders, however, blame the civilian administration for being too slow to deliver services, repair the infrastructure, and improve Iraqi daily life. Whoever is at fault, the result is exactly the same. There are thousands of young, unemployed men here with nothing better to do than take out their frustrations on the most obvious target. Kimberly Dozier, CBS News, Baghdad.
The Texas-based Halliburton company today identified 3 of 4 Americans found dead in Iraq earlier this month as civilians who worked for Halliburton's subsidiary. They were killed when their fuel convoy was ambushed west of Baghdad. CBS's Bob McNamara reports tonight that other Americans who took jobs in Iraq are now having second thoughts.
The sad news came to small-town southern Illinois, to a Louisiana family who'd flown yellow ribbons, and to Manistee, Michigan, hometown of 48-year-old Stephen Hewlett, one of the 3 contract workers killed.
These people are brave people, and they are patriots.
Back in Texas now, Stephen Herring and Stacy Clark quit their truck driving jobs in Iraq.
People are dying. You know, it's not worth it as a civilian, I feel.
The 2 contract workers barely survived an Iraqi insurgent ambush on their supply convoy.
I mean, there was no trucks. I mean, every truck had bullet holes in it.
Halliburton and subsidiaries like KBR have now had 33 contract employees killed in the war zone. And though training includes fittings for chemical and biological weapon suits, the promise of $100,000 tax-free wages lures many to make a deal with danger.
The illusion of the money is what sucks you in. You know, it did it to me, and it's going to do it to several other 100 people that go.
Still, even the kidnapping of contract worker Thomas Hamill, who remains unaccounted for, did not dissuade these Halliburton recruits from shipping out to Iraq.
Where I'm from, there's not a lot of good jobs right now for the working man. So it's just a risk that we all take.
A risk these 2 men decided was not worth the dollars when they came to their senses. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Dallas.
A former high-ranking U.S. Air Force official pleaded guilty today to conspiracy in a conflict of interest investigation, and in a plea deal, she agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. Darlene Druyan admitted she negotiated a job with Boeing while still overseeing taxpayer-funded government contracts with the company. That includes a $23 billion deal for Boeing air refueling tanker planes, which must now be renegotiated. Some people in both parties in Congress had called it a sweetheart deal. The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments today in a case that goes to the heart of the war on terror, the detention of more than 600 terror suspects on the U.S. naval base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. CBS's Jim Stewart reports, in effect, the justices were reviewing the legality of those detentions.
At the time, no one raised much objection. U.S. forces were sweeping up the Taliban and al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, and Guantanamo Bay seemed the perfect place to lock up all the foreigners and figure out their status later. Only that was 2.5 years ago, and now the Supreme Court has heard their arguments in a case that may set the first legal boundaries in the nation's war on terrorism. Claiming they're not terrorists and were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, the detainees are asking 3 things: to be told of the charges against them, if any, to see their families and lawyers, and to have a process for contesting their imprisonment. Arguing for the government, Solicitor General Ted Olson said these were non-citizens who can be held indefinitely. They have no rights under U.S. law, and Olson reminded the court these are extraordinary times.
The United States is at war. Over 10,000 American troops are in Afghanistan today.
But the court seemed skeptical. The president can't just lock up anyone he wants, Justice Stephen Breyer suggested.
It seems rather contrary to an idea of a constitution with three branches, that the executive would be free to do whatever they want without a check.
Lawyers for the prisoners also pointed out that Guantanamo Bay is subject to U.S. law in any event since the Navy has held its lease for over 100 years. And they argued no one is suggesting the detainees be set free, only that they get some kind of hearing.
We agree that you have the right to detain people in a war. That's very clear. But the question is, you need some way of saying who should be detained and who shouldn't.
Next week, the court will hear two similar cases, only ones involving U.S. citizens, also being held without charges and without an attorney. Decisions are expected in early summer. Jim Stewart, CBS News at the Supreme Court.
He's not saying inflation is any big worry, but Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan did say today that with the U.S. economy recovering, as he put it, American companies are regaining the power to raise prices. Wall Street took that as a sign higher interest rates may be coming, and the Dow took a 123-point dive. The Nasdaq lost 41. Next on the CBS Evening News, a call to prayer in an American house of worship. Is that a problem? It certainly is in one Michigan town, and we'll give you the inside story. Then later, the transplant simulation that could help save real lives. You'll see the living proof.
Great news! St. Joseph aspirin, that little orange pill you remember, can significantly reduce your risk of a heart attack. And not only is 81 milligram the dosage doctors recommend most for daily cardiotherapy, it's the only kind we make. Because we believe in doing one thing and doing it well. Heart health. Not backaches or headaches, body aches or muscle aches, just heart health. Baby your heart with St. Joseph.
A convenient third-row tailgating seat. Just one of the many innovative features available in the all-new Mercury Monterey.
If a lazy moment turns into the right moment, will you be ready? Introducing Cialis, the first tablet for erectile dysfunction that gives you up to 36 hours to choose the moment that's right for you and your partner. New Cialis goes to work fast and can work for up to 36 hours. Cialis is not for everyone. If you take nitrates for chest pain or certain alpha blockers for prostate problems or high blood pressure, do not take Cialis. Such combinations could cause a sudden unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. The most common side effects were headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. Erections lasting longer than 4 hours, though rare, require immediate medical help. Discuss your health status with your doctor to ensure Cialis is right for you and you are healthy enough for sexual activity. Ask your doctor if a free sample of prescription Cialis is right for you. 36-hour Cialis. When the moment is right, will you be ready?
It's termite swarm season. Terminix them with our problem-solved guarantee. 1-800-TERMINIX.
We try a lot of things before we succeed. That's why we keep trying. Maybe all the times you tried to quit smoking were just practice. The 4-milligram Commit Lozenge actually doubles your chances of quitting. The Commit Lozenge. Real help, real hope.
Serenity's Dry Active line. 3 sizes to fit your needs. All are thin and discreet with superior absorbency and powerful odor control. Serenity Dry Active line from Tenna. Forget your worries, not your style.
2 Arab leaders, normally staunch U.S. allies, are strongly protesting President Bush's new change in Middle East policy. Egypt's President Mubarak told a French newspaper that in the Arab world, Americans are hated, quote, like never before. And Jordan's young King Abdullah, on a U.S. visit, made his point by canceling a planned meeting tomorrow with President Bush. Anyone who has visited an Islamic country is familiar with the unique sound of the Muslim call to prayer. It is heard from loudspeakers 5 times a day, around the clock, including late at night and early in the morning. But it is not heard in America's largest Muslim community, at least not yet. Why? CBS's Lee Cowan gives you the inside story.
In Hamtramck, Michigan, home to one of the nation's largest concentration of American Muslims, a loudspeaker has caused a holy divide. Allah! 5 times a day, Masood Khan calls his faithful to prayer through a microphone that's plugged into nothing. So he went before the city council to ask permission to put a speaker outside.
It takes only 1 minute. What is it, 5 times a day? 5 minutes only we are asking for.
Muslims figured it was no different than Christians ringing church bells, which incidentally ring just across the street from the mosque 5 times a day. But when the city council put the idea of a public call to prayer before this historically Polish, largely Christian community, it became something of a call to arms.
People are concerned about being woken up early in the morning, being kept up late at night.
For some Christians like Joanna Golan, noise wasn't the issue, preaching was.
I do not impose my God on them, and I really don't want this to be resounded in my ears 5 times a day, 7 days a week.
And that's as nice as it got. The council was soon flooded with violent objections, most directed at the council's only Muslim member.
I thought we were dealing with just a noise ordinance, but it turned into something else.
A venue, he says, for hate. Emails accused him of forcing his filthy worship on God-fearing Americans. One predicted the idea would spread like cancer.
Getting this kind of hate mail, it's hurtful.
Still, he says, the measure will pass, which poses a difficult question. Can a place historically so tolerant of the world's great religions suddenly be divided by them as well? Lee Cowan, CBS News, Hamtramck, Michigan.
Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, he's desperate for a liver transplant. The living donor faces a big risk. We'll show you what could be a lifesaver for both in a moment.
Would somebody please refill that Glade plug-in?
Don't forget to refill your Glade plug-ins, because the new refill's fresh and even better.
Plug it in, plug it in.
And I'll put another one in.
I order you to refill the Glade plug-ins at once.
Don't forget to refill your Glade plug-ins, because the new refill's fresh and even better.
Plug it in, plug it in.
It's a beautiful morning.
I was never one to sleep in, which is good because being a teacher, you never really get to. After all these years, I have to say I still look forward to going to school. And I'm pretty sure the kids do too.
Ask your doctor today about Vioxx and find out what Vioxx can do for you.
My doctor prescribed Vioxx and I stayed with it.
Vioxx.
These guys, like family. So when I learned 1 in 3 men faces prostate problems,
he had us switch to One-A-Day Men's.
One-A-Day Men's Health Formula, a complete multivitamin plus lycopene, which Harvard studies have linked to prostate health.
Gotta watch out for my guys.
One-A-Day Men's.
The experts at Oral-B are on a mission to protect your teeth and gums with the Oral-B Professional Care 7000. Its 3D action removes more plaque than Sonicare Elite and even reverses gum disease. Oral-B Professional Care. Brush like a dentist.
Mr. Goodwrench, who is this one and only GM expert?
Can I help you?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Goodwrench.
He put a supercharger in your car.
Yep. What's it tell you, bub?
Easy there, Leadfoot. New transmission, who's my guy?
Mr. Goodwrench.
Fresh fuel filter?
Mr. Goodwrench. Mr. Goodwrench.
Find Mr. Goodwrench at over 7,000 GM dealerships nationwide.
My friends call me Buffalo.
How come?
Don't know.
We ask people why they use stimulant-free Colace laxatives.
My doctor recommended it.
My doctor.
I heard about Colace capsules from my doctor.
My doctor told me.
Our family doctor.
Colace capsules is the #1 stool softener brand recommended by doctors. Colace laxatives are stimulant-free to provide the comfortable relief people can rely on.
My son recommended it.
Your son?
Yes, my son, the doctor.
Colace capsules. Ask your doctor.
A study out tonight finds liver failure patients most in need of transplants are not always first to receive them, even though there's a severe shortage of donated organs. But there could be a way now to ease the shortage and improve the odds of a risky transplant. It's a high-tech spin on practice makes perfect, as CBS's medical correspondent Elizabeth Caledon reports on the Health Watch.
There you go.
Initially, it seemed like a great idea.
I volunteered with great enthusiasm in the beginning.
A perfect match for his ailing brother, Stephen, David Burke agreed to become a live liver donor, giving about 60% of his own liver to Stephen to save his life.
I worry about him every day. Of course, with all surgery, something can go wrong.
You have an ultrasound?
The more David learned, the more he started to worry, too.
Take a deep breath in.
Live organ donation is a relatively new and extremely rare procedure. But David Burke agreed to go forward because this hospital, Boston's Leahy Clinic, is experimenting with a new way to make live organ donation safer.
Live liver donor surgery carries a high degree of risk, especially to the donor who's otherwise healthy. But in this case, the Burke brothers will benefit from cutting-edge 3D technology, which allows the surgeons to completely map out the liver and plan the surgery before even heading to the OR.
Now you're looking at Mr. Burke's liver.
It's a powerful screening device that gives doctors a highly precise look at the anatomy of an organ, arteries, blood vessels, and all.
This particular technology unravels the individual patient's liver to such an extent that surgeons can make extremely well-informed decisions as to how to operate.
This drains very little.
During the Burke brothers' surgery, Dr. Elizabeth Pomfret plastered the images on the operating room walls. She had already studied them in detail before even picking up a scalpel.
It adds a confidence level and a comfort level that you clearly want to have as a surgeon.
I think that's so impactful.
An estimated 20,000 Americans need liver transplants. The hope is this technology could create a larger pool of living donors by eliminating the guesswork.
The most important thing that we learned from the images is being able to really get a better assessment of risk for a donor.
The surgery went well. It's clear the new technology has made a difference.
All right, good luck.
4 months later, the Burke brothers can say they shared a medical adventure and are now free to share the future.
We're going down to Florida.
Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, Burlington, Massachusetts.
Elton John may have had the hit song, but there's only one real rocket man in the world, and today he flew to new heights. Eric Scott, an American stuntman and the world's only professional rocket-packed flyer, flew to the top of a 13-story castle tower in England. That's the highest flight ever for a solo rocketeer. Scott says the higher he flies, the calmer he is until he looks down. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, a sea lion rescued. The news is in where it happened and why.
Are there ways to save patients like Sean with no hope left?
In the eyes of a guy with cancer and the doctor trying to save your life, excess isn't in the vocabulary.
Could some doctors be going too far? Don't miss our revealing Eye on America investigation tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Ow! Ow!
Cooled seats. Just one of the many innovative features available in the all-new Mercury Monterey.
In my line of work, pain was part of the job, but heartburn pain was part of my life until I got help from Prevacid. I'm a pretty tough guy, but that fireball would hit me more often than linebackers. I was in great shape. I changed my diet. I had enough chalky tabs to line a field with. Still, the heartburn came back. My trainer and I thought it might be serious, so I finally took a time out to see my doctor. He broke it down like this. 1, I had acid reflux disease. 2, acid causes pain and can lead to damage. And 3, he prescribed Prevacid because it helps prevent acid.
Heartburn pain and damage is caused by acid backing up into the esophagus. But one Prevacid once a day helps prevent the acid, stops the pain, and allows your body to heal.
Now I'm retired, and with Prevacid daily, my heartburn is too.
Prescription Prevacid has a low occurrence of side effects such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. Ask your doctor for more information and if Prevacid is right for you. Help prevent the acid with Prevacid.
We brought new Hidden Valley White Cheddar Ranch to the cheese experts.
Yeah, that's a lot of cheese.
Cheese is my life. Next to ice fishing. Oh, that's cheesehead love. You betcha.
Real ranch, real cheddar from Hidden Valley.
For years, the kids have called me their guardian angel.
Brady?
When I got cancer and the chemo made me anemic and too weak to keep working, I had to do something. I asked my doctor about Procrit.
Procrit is for chemotherapy-related anemia in patients with most kinds of cancer. Procrit helps rebuild red blood cells, and more red blood cells can mean more strength. Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo.
I'm back, and there's no stopping me.
I swim, I jog. I love junk food. Sometimes even I get constipation. When it happens to me, I take this little pill. It's X-Lax. Surprised?
Why do so many people choose X-Lax? It's gentle, dependable, overnight relief. X-Lax comes in regular strength and maximum strength, too. Today's X-Lax, for regular people who sometimes aren't.
The Board of Regents knew James Hefner had problems managing budgets when they hired him to run TSU. So why did they do that? We'll have the story coming up at 6.
We end tonight with the story of a sea lion rescue. Not just another sea lion rescue story. CBS's John Blackstone reports in this case it wasn't the Coast Guard that came to the rescue. It was the Highway Patrol. And the story gets even weirder from there.
There he was, a sea lion, 70 miles from the ocean, in the middle of California farm country.
I'm thinking somebody saw a big dog and, it's wet or something.
But this was no dog, and he was showing no respect for the California Highway Patrol. CHP officer Mike Benelli has never had a call like this.
Cows, bulls, horses, pigs, but no sea lions.
Benelli named him Chippy, a nickname for CHP officers. Chippy had somehow traveled from San Francisco Bay, up rivers and down irrigation canals, until he got to a place where no sea lion had gone before. Marine mammal experts told Benelli the 300-pound animal wasn't very old.
He goes, he was a teenager with a bad attitude. I said, yeah, I have one of those at home. I know all about that.
But rescuers discovered the reason for Chippy's bad attitude. X-rays showed a bullet near the back of his head.
Fortunately for him, it missed a lot of the vital structures that are in this area.
Again, the CHP came to the rescue, collecting thousands of dollars for Chippy's medical care. The Highway Patrol even sent an honor guard when Chippy was healthy enough to be released into the wild. But a satellite tracking device was glued to his back, just in case this meandering marine mammal took another wrong turn.
Turns out Chippy knew exactly where he was going. He swam 40 miles right back here to San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf.
This is where a crowd of old fishing buddies gather to brag, battle, and belch. At least until they're ready to nap. Here, nobody needs a satellite to spot Chippy's antenna.
Oh, yeah. He's famous.
But now, Chippy seems content simply to be lost in the crowd. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
A crowd of old fishing buddies, part of our world tonight. We thank you for joining us this evening, and we invite you back tomorrow for the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on cbsnews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart, where you can find everything you and your family need at everyday low prices. Walmart, always low prices, always. Selling hope to cancer patients? An Eye on America investigation tomorrow.
Straight ahead on News Channel 5 at 6, an audit of TSU found problems with the way President James Hefner managed the school's money. But was it the first time Hefner had this kind of trouble?
And it's the biggest drug bust ever in Middle Tennessee. $1 million worth of marijuana. Find out how a keen eye found the well-hidden stash.
And big changes may soon be coming for workers' compensation in Tennessee.
We'll tell you about the governor's plan. The news is now.
From your news and information leader.
This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. He's in trouble for mismanaging scholarship money at TSU.
But records show it's not the first time. TSU President James Hefner has had problems before, and the State Board of Regents knew about it. News Channel 5's Barry Simmons looked into records that shed light on this recent controversy.
When the Tennessee Board of Regents selected James Hefner as TSU's president 14 years ago, they knew he'd had problems with managing finances before. As president of Jackson State University, he resigned before the College Board there could fire him. His file at the Board of Regents shows why.